Hey guys, so we're gonna do a little DIY here. The setup today is a little bit different because I don't have my DIY table with me, but we're going to be doing some cardamom rose bath salts. These smell phenomenal. Highly recommend them, and those are two oils and blends that go so beautifully together, where if you don't have rose oil, so we're gonna be using our rose essential oil and cardamom. We're also going to be doing an infused rose oil. So what I've done here is I actually had this infusing for probably a week or two now, where I actually had the rose petals. I basically took about a cup of jojoba or fractionated coconut oil and something that isn't as strongly scented. So you don't want to be using like a regular coconut oil, because you will get the overpowering aroma of coconut oil. Then I basically put in rose petals, so about a cup worth of freshly cleaned, washed, dried rose petals, and I'm just continuing to infuse this. So you can see that it still has rose petals in it. That's because after the first infusion, where I kind of warmed up my oil, put in those petals, let it steep there for a little while, for a couple days, put it by the windowsill, a warm area, to kind of let everything infuse. Then you basically strain it out with a cheesecloth or a thin muslin cloth that you may have. Take out all of the rose petals that were there, and that first infusion, you can reuse those rose petals, so you can dry them out and reuse them, similar to kind of what I have here. So I have dried ones that you're able to reuse there, or you can toss them out. So whatever you'd like to do with them, I'm always about reusing them and doing something beautiful with them. So that's a great way. Smell it, see how strong the aroma is at that time, because it's not actually going to be an essential oil that you're getting an infused oil. Then if you find that you're wanting it to be even stronger, then again, what you'll do is you will then take another fresh batch of rose petals. So ones that you haven't been using before. So another fresh batch of rose petals, and again, steep it again. So warm up the oil a little bit, steep it again in the oil for a few days, keeping it by your windowsill. And because it is a steeped oil and you're using fresh petals, always, once you're storing it, keep it in the refrigerator. You can see like the dew, I guess, from the refrigerator on the glass. So that's where it won't grow any mold or anything on the oil itself, because you don't want to just leave it outside. So it will last outside for a little while, but if you're going to be using it over a period of a month or 2 months or so, I definitely recommend storing it in your refrigerator. And then you can just warm it up in the palm of your hand, or warm up however much you're looking to use. So this is pretty much, like you can see, the florals have changed colors. The aroma is amazing. So it doesn't smell like rosehip oil, and it isn't as strong as a rose essential oil. So, but you still get the rose fragrance. So that's where we're going to use a little bit of this, some Epsom salts, some of the essential oils, some fresh rose petals, as well as fresh ground cardamom. So this is what we're going to use as one of the ingredients. You can either basically strain it out, or if you're wanting to let it steep, just let it steep in there for a couple days and then do the same process. And this goes for any florals or any petals, mints, cardamom, spices. The same process would typically go for infusing an oil, where you would basically adjust it. So for spices, like if you're wanting to do cardamom or clove or garlic, and those could be either used for food later on, whether you're putting them in recipes, start smaller, because you may notice that it may be too powerful of a taste in your food. So that's where you'll be able to adjust and play with it yourself. So moving on to that, with the cardamom. So with the cardamom here, you'll see when I put it in here, I actually ground it with the pod itself. So I didn't just use the cardamom seeds. And cardamom is one of my favorite aromas. I love it. It's really good, really soothing for chest, respiratory. It's really good. And this is where it's a very gentle and safe spice and oil to be using for younger children as well too. So this is where You don't need to be fussy to be sitting and peeling all the cardamoms to get the pods out, because the little strings, like the threads basically from the pods, actually give it a unique texture and that look when you're going to be using them in the bath salts. So similar to when you're adding in your rose petals, similar to when you're adding in anything else, like when you look at your lavender buds, it just adds that extra visual appeal to it, to just make it more beautiful. And that's where it makes your life simpler as well, to not be sitting there peeling all that. So just grind it all together and make it fresh. That's what I love to do. Otherwise, make a larger batch, store it in the fridge, usually will last a little longer. So getting started, what we're going to be doing here is we are going to be filling in the Epsom salt. So I just have like a measuring cup. I'm going to just put in some of the Epsom salts. So when you go to most of the medical stores, especially the ones in India, they won't recognize Epsom salts. So if you tell them what are Epsom salts, so they're gonna look at you funny where they don't always recognize it. Go buy magnesium sulfate. Otherwise, Amazon's like a really great way. I'll link down the Epsom salts, and I'll link down most of these ingredients and stuff for how you can use them and where to get them from. So this is one made in India, awesome. So support local as much as you can. I highly recommend that. So if there's a medical store nearby you that has it, however, they only usually have those super tiny pouches. So this is great. I use it quite regularly. So the 1 kg packet is awesome to do that. So that's that option. I'm gonna just start taking about a cup in. Then however much cardamom you want to have, just add that in here. So I'm going to add in a little bit more, and then we're also going to be adding in the essential oil. So I'm going to be adding in about 5 drops of the cardamom essential oil in that, and then I'm going to be just doing 1 drop of the rose. And this smells like beautiful. You can smell it from here. It's like, again, one of my absolute favorite aromas. And then 1 drop of the rose. So this is like a really nice one to do cakes as well too, like cardamom rose cake or puddings. Really nice to basically combine those 2 flavors. And then what I'm gonna do is with this oil, I'm basically just gonna I'll take a scoop of it with like the petals as well that are there. So you wanna do probably about 2 tablespoons of that in here. So I'm gonna just add that directly in here. And then I'm gonna use some of those petals as well. That way you get that added color. And then just kind of mix it up here. So the oil, whatever carrier oil you've used, so for example, if you used jojoba oil, olive oil, coconut oil, those are really amazing ones for your skin. And that's why you always usually will add in a little bit of an oil into that to basically blend it out. And this is one where I love just like the cardamom and the rose, but you can always do like a peppermint or eucalyptus or mix it up or add in the peppermint as well too. And then what I like to do is once I have the mixture ready in this cup, this is great for gifting. So like if you're gifting, this is super affordable where you can make like larger batches for yourself and be able to gift them out easily. So I like to use like these little mason jars, which are pretty much, I would say they're probably half a cup size, which is perfect for like a single serving bath salt. Otherwise you can get like the larger mason jars where it's like 1 cup. So depending on what you're using and what you're wanting to gift for, you can use them beautifully. And then basically just like tie a ribbon around it. That just all fell out. Tie a ribbon around it and be able to like gift it out. So this is like a great way where it's the perfect seasonal gift. And depending on what the season is, you can change the aroma accordingly too. All right. So we're just gonna gently pack that in and look at how beautiful that is. Isn't that gorgeous? Like you have your petals, you have your cardamom, you can see like those little strands and the flakes in there, and that's gorgeous. So like this, the jar from the outside, it's like a little bit, it has like a pattern on it, But otherwise, like even just a clear jar, just take that. You can make like a little love note on the top, a little message, homemade, put a little ribbon around it, and it is perfect and beautiful. And then as soon as they open up the jar, you get that beautiful fragrance. The cardamom pretty much comes out on top, and then the rose is like a very subtle undertone where it is beautiful. Definitely recommend making this. I would love to hear what your favorite combinations are, like chamomile, green tea, like any of the other ones. You can also do like teas. So if you have herbal teas or anything, feel free to like swap it out a little bit and mix and match with what aromas you like or what you're looking to achieve with the oil. So if you're looking to get any therapeutic benefits from it, find out what you're looking to get and do that. So it's all about you, your lifestyle, what you love, what aromas you love, and making things work for you, because what works for me may not be the best for you. So I hope you guys enjoyed this DIY, and we'll see you next week. Bye.